Hello everyone, my name's Tomco, and today I'm showing you how to make a working roulette table in Minecraft Bedrock. Let me show you how it works. Just like the slot machine I made a while ago, this is of course a gambling machine, and if you learn anything from this build, you will be scared to gamble for life. You can lose everything. So then, to change which colour you want to bet on, simply alternate through them all with this stone button right here. And then once you're happy with your selection, simply throw in a diamond block over the cyan carpet and the game starts coming to life. And the way it works is simple to understand. If the roulette table stops spinning on the colour you betted for, you win. But if it doesn't, you win absolutely nothing. I've lost, haven't I? That's a shame. If you bet on red or black and you win, you get double what you put in. So in this case, 2 diamond blocks. But if you go all in and go on green, you can win 9 times what you put in. So now you know how it all works. It would be rude not to have a little game. So in this case, I want to bet on black. I've set that one to black. Then throw my 1 diamond block above the cyan, which is what my payment item is. And the board comes to life. Come on, please. Please land on black. Yes! And as you just saw, I get 2 diamond blocks back. That was first time I legit could not have planned that any better. And for those of you paying attention, you may have noticed some pretty cool features. Not only can you not see any pistons in the piston feed tape, which is pretty ironic, the machine spins for a set amount of time before it goes random, which means every single time you play this, it will be for a different length of time, which is kinda cool. And you can't change the colour you bet on whilst the machine is running. But overall, this machine is actually pretty great, and I'm really proud of it. And this computer secretary looking thing behind me is everything to it. I don't know what you were expecting, but for what it does, this thing is miniature. I know it may look super complicated, but I promise you, it's not actually that bad. But you have my word, I made it as easy as possible for you to follow. Right then, let me show you how to build this awesome machine. So to build it, you're gonna have to get yourself a 16 block long, by 11 blocks wide, by 2 block deep pit. However, if you're not planning on building it in the floor, in a pit, and you're instead thinking of building it in the sky, it is 3 blocks tall instead of the 2. And that's just because we have to include all the blocks this redstone and these repeaters if I jump actually sit on, whereas in the pit, we just use the pit's floor. And the roulette table ring itself sits 1 block above the floor. So if you don't like that and you wanted to sit flush with the floor, simply lower the entire thing by 1 block. It's that easy. And speaking of the roulette ring, it is a 9x9 square which sits 1 block in from the back 3 sides. So hopefully you can use that to land your build correctly and of course, build it in the right spot. That's pretty important. And then to build it, this is everything you're going to need. So 6 barrels, 2 walls of any kind, they can be any type of wall. I've just gone with 2 cobblestone walls, 4 target blocks, 15 observers, 4 hoppers, 5 droppers. Do not bring dispensers, they have to be 5 droppers, 7 sticky pistons, 8 regular pistons, 1 half slab of any kind, 2 copper bulbs, can be waxed or non-waxed, doesn't matter, 9 redstone torches, 20 comparators, 22 redstone repeaters, 58 dust, 1 button, I recommend using a stone button, but you can use wood if you really have to, and then 25 decorational half slabs, which will be the ring of your roulette table itself. And then the 1 frog light, that can be any solid block in the game. I just think it looks really cool as a decorative like slot finder thing. Then you're going to have to bring 4 obsidian blocks, 110 wooden planks, and 220 sticks, and these are going to be used to make 110 shovels. I know, that's an awful lot of wooden shovels, but we need exactly 110 non-stackable item, and wooden shovels are probably just the cheapest. You can bring 110 diamond hose if you must, but I think shovels are probably cheaper than that. You are then going to have to bring 10 stacks of 1 item. I have 10 stacks of snowballs with me, and that's just because once again, they're really easy to get, and since they only stack to 16, you need way less of them. So sure, you can bring 10 stacks of cobblestone, or 10 stacks of dirt, just 10 stacks of snowballs is quite a bit easier to get, but you do need to bring 10 stacks of 1 item. You're then going to have to get yourself 8 random blocks for item filters. I recommend renaming these blocks to something like filler, and then 18 types of your payment items. So in this case, I'm going with diamond blocks as my payment item, but you could go with gold ingots, diamonds, just bring 18 lots or whatever you want your payment item to be. And then the gold block and the emerald block, they are purely optional in case you want to have nice funky sounds. And since I want nice funky sounds, I'm going to include them. The crafting table is to craft those 110 shovels, then the red, black, green and glass blocks, they're just used for a bit of the functionality. And of course, bring yourself some blocks to actually build it out of. That's important. And by the way, the material list itself is only the functionality stuff, so everything behind me right now that actually makes it work, that's what's included in that list. If you wanted to look nice and decorate it, there will be another list later on that will have everything you need to make it look nice and decorate it just like I've done. Hopefully that makes sense. And then once you're feeling ready, let's start. So the very first thing you want to do, drop down into your pit and come round to the bottom right corner. I'm going to be calling this side the bottom, that side the top, and as you can see where the template of the roulette table is going to sit. So come round to the bottom right corner. And on these two blocks, place two pieces of redstone dust, one here and one there, just like so. Come round to the very part of the corner. Look on top of this block, place a comparator going that way towards the opposite side of the pit you've dug out, and place a comparator going this way, just like so. Then place two blocks in front of them, like that. Come round to the bottom side over here. One to delay repeater coming away from that block, so just leave it, don't touch that repeater. Then get out your gold block if you want to make the note block sound good, but it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a gold block, it can be any block. I just like the sound it makes. Then place another repeater coming away from this gold block, like so, going into a solid block in front of it, just like that. Then get out a dropper, well you should only have droppers, and place a dropper facing upwards, just like that. Then, going into this repeater, but coming from that direction, place a repeater going into it, and this time set it to 2 ticks. So this is 1, right click it, now it's set to 2. Then, place an observer coming away from this repeater, just like so. My observer may look a little bit different to you, that's just because I have a texture pack on, so I've got this arrow so you can see what direction it's going in. But the dot should be on this side. Then place another observer in front of this one, going into the block, so it looks like that. The arrows on top of the observers are all pointing into that block. So far, if I jump out, it should be looking somewhat like this. Then come round to the other side of this dropper, jump down again, crouch, place a hopper going into that dropper, just like so. So you see the little tail, that is pointing into the dropper. Then place a block behind the hopper, block over here, get yourself a redstone torch out, place a redstone torch on the side of that block, just like so. Block behind this block, and then 2 blocks here. Then get out another dropper, on the left hand side of the wall, place a dropper here, observer coming away from that dropper, dropper here, observer coming away from that dropper, just like so. By the way, make sure both of these droppers are facing upwards. Just thought I'd mention that. And then coming away from that observer, place 3 pieces of dust in front of it. So 1, 2, and 3. Repeater, leave it as it is. Then get out an emerald block, place it in front of the repeater. Once again, doesn't have to be a block of emerald, can be any block in the game, just your note blocks won't sound as cool. Then place in 3 more dust in front of this, so 1, 2, 3. Solid block in front of that one, dust in front of that, and then come 6 blocks to the right with dust. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Block in front of your dust, well to the right of it. Repeater coming away from the dust, just like so. Dust in front of the repeater. So in total, it looks like this if I jump out of my pit. Then come back around to this dust over here. Place 2 pieces of dust here. And then place 4 repeaters coming away from this dust, going towards the bottom again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Set the last 3 to 4 ticks. And then set the bottom 1 to 2 ticks. So 1, and then 2. Block in front of your row of repeaters. Block to the right of it so it's alongside this wall. Then placing dust behind dust behind this block connecting to that dust. That's what I meant to say. Then get out a redstone torch and place it on the front side of this block so it's directly in front of this repeater. Now it should be looking like this. Then Looking at it from this side towards the back side of where the roulette table is, place dust to the left of this torch. It should turn on, just like so. Comparator behind it, like that. Comparator to the right of it, but facing that direction. Then right click the comparator so it goes into subtract mode. As you can see, the little light in the front, that should turn on. Then placing 2 blocks in front of the comparator. 1 and 2. So now it looks like this. Just to the left of this comparator. Just down. 2 comparators going this direction. 1, 2. Once again, put both of these guys into subtract mode. 1 and 2. Place a repeater going into this comparator. Like that. Just to the left of it. Repeater going into that dust. Then get yourself out a target block. And place a target block behind the repeater. Just like so. So far, it should be looking like this. I'll give you time to check. Now come round to over here. Place 2 solid blocks here. Then get out your comparators again. Place a comparator going that way towards your repeater. And then place a comparator going the opposite direction away from your dust. Just like so. 2 pieces of dust in front of it. Repeater going towards that side. Like so. And block in front of it. And you should notice this observer and this block lines up perfectly. If this is lining up, it means you've done everything else in the correct spot. Doesn't mean you've done it right. It just means you've done it in the correct spot. So take of that what you will, I guess. You then want to come around to these blocks we placed earlier. Place a target block in front of those. Just like so. Just to the right of it. Then place repeaters coming away from this dust and target block going towards the bottom. So 1 repeater here. And 1 repeater to the left of it. Then set this one on the right coming away from the target block to 3 ticks. And set this one to 2. Just like that. Then come round to the bottom. Crouch. Place an observer coming away from this repeater. Going into this dropper. So it looks like that. Once again, my arrows pointing into the dropper. This arrow on the top pointing into the dropper. Then get out a sticky piston and a hopper. Come around to the left hand side of the target block, or hop as I did for some reason. Place a sticky piston here facing to the left hand side. Temporary block here. Then place a hopper so the tail once again is going into that block. We can then remove the temporary block. Then place a 2x2 block. No, 2x2 odd blocks just in that gap like so. Come round to this repeater. Place dust to the left of it. Then get out your non-decorational singular half slab I was talking about in the material list. I've gone with a quartz slab and place it on the top half of this observer, just like so. So once again, a little checkup. So far, it should be looking something like this. The diagram might be a better way to check. Just so you know, the top layer is easier than this one, so if you're doing alright now, it's going to be fine for you, don't worry. Then come round to the left hand side once again. Come round to this repeater we placed earlier, and then place a target block behind it, just like so. Then get out one of your wall blocks and place it to the right hand side of this target block. Observer coming away from the wall, going towards the front or back side depending on what you call it. Going towards the side with your table on, that's a better way to put it. Then get out a repeater, place a repeater coming away from this observer and set it to 4 ticks. So repeater, set it to 4 ticks. Dust in front of it, dust to the right of it, then 3 dust in front of this one. So 1, 2, and 3. Get out another sticky piston again. Sticky piston to the right of this dust. Observer to the right. So this time the arrow is pointing to the right. That is important. Going into this dust we placed earlier. Place a 4 to delay repeater. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then get out your copper bulb. Finally. And place it to the right hand side of this repeater if looking at it from the right. So a better way to say it is actually, if you're looking at it from the front, place it in front of it. There we go. Then get out a comparator. Place a comparator to the right hand side of the copper bulb. Block in front of this comparator. Wow, that oxidized fast. Oh well, doesn't matter. Torch the side of it. dust to the right of that block, dust in front of this dust, then one more piece of dust here, connecting to this comparator. Nothing should happen, great. Then come back round to over here, looking at the dust in this direction, place a repeater going into it, just like so, block behind it, block to the left of it, then place a block on the other side of this comparator, so we kind of surrounded it with blocks. It's nice and snug in there, I guess. Going into this sticky piston over here, place a repeater and set it to 4 ticks. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. 2 dust behind it. Observer here, then get out your other cobblestone wall and place it just behind this observer like so. That'll update this copper bulb, absolutely fine. It doesn't matter, we'll have to fix it later anyways. You now want to get out your barrels and pistons as it's almost time for our 110 wooden shovels. Looking forward to it. Right, so go round to the bottom right hand side. You have this comparator here. Place a barrel, can be facing any direction, just like so. Get our comparator, place a comparator to the left hand side of this barrel. Get out a regular piston, place a piston behind the barrel, going towards the back or the table side. Just like so. Then place a barrel, a block in front and to the left of this piston, one in front of that one, and one to the right of that one. Place a piston here going into that barrel, a piston here, nope, not there. Oh yeah, no, a piston here going into the barrel, ignore me, I'm losing my mind slowly, and then a piston here going into the barrel. So this is what's going to make the barrels rotate, basically. Then once you've done this, get an observer. Place an observer here coming away from this piston. Solid block in front of this observer. Once again, the observer is pointing right. The arrow is pointing right into this block. And then place a block to the right hand side of this piston. So if I can jump properly, our piston formation looks like this. Never thought I'd say the word piston formation before, but here we are. Exciting times. Then jump down to where we have this comparator before. Place a comparator coming away from this barrel, pointing into this comparator. And we want to set this comparator that we placed a while ago to subtract mode. I was meant to set it there before, but I forgot. But make sure you do it now. Then get out a sticky piston. Place a sticky piston in front of this comparator with a solid block that's been stuck to it. Just like so. Then place a solid block to the left of this regular piston that we placed before, and then placing dust to the left of this comparator. And if I fly up, that should be the first layer done. So now it's time to set up a crafting table and maybe a chest somewhat close to your build, as it's time to craft an awful lot of shovels. I bet you can't wait. Then this anvil is also here just in case you wanted to rename your filler item to make it a bit more secure. So in this case, I'm going to just literally rename them filler to make sure nobody could ever put in a payment that isn't actually what I want it to be. So now I'm extra careful. But to start off with, you want to get all your snowballs out and some of your filler blocks. We'll only need 4 of these filler blocks, but it doesn't matter if you bring them all, just don't use them all. Yeah, get out all your snowballs. Once you get out all your snowballs or whatever item you've chosen to get 10 stacks of, come round to this hopper over here. So this one right here in front of this sticky piston. Put your 4 filler blocks on the right hand side of this hopper, like that, and then put 1 stack of your item. So in this case, 1 stack of snowballs. Then in this dropper, fill it up with snowballs. And that's all the snowballs used. Perfect. Now it's time for the shovels. So we are going to be filling up this barrel first, and you want to put 24 shovels inside this barrel. So let's craft, 24 shovels, I guess. What's the best way to do this? Well, that worked better than I thought it would. Oh, wow. Hang on. Well, that worked way better than I was planning, and that is exactly 24 shovels. Perfect. Now we've done this barrel, we want to move on to this barrel right here, and this one's going to have 25 shovels in it. So let's go back to our crafting bench, and let's craft up 25 shovels. So what's the best way to do this one? 25 logs, and then this should give us exactly 25 shovels? I think it will do. And then we put 25 shovels in this barrel. Right, and then this top left corner one, we have to put 23 shovels in this one. So let's go back to our crafting bench, and let's craft 23 shovels. I need more sticks. Here they are, the secret stick collection. So, 23, put a few sticks in, and we got 23 shovels. Let's whack all these in this top dropper. Not dropper, barrel. I've been talking for a long time. My bad. And then this top right one, which I decided to run away from. Don't do that. We're going to have to get ourselves 26 shovels. So, back to our crafting bench. Let's get 26 shovels. Just like so. We put all these shovels in this top barrel. Top right barrel, I mean. And there we go. That is all our barrels. No, not the majority of our shovels. And all of our snowballs all used up. And now it's time for our top layer. As I said before, I'm switching over to yellow wool. But you can use whatever. And there'll be a new diagram in the top right corner that I'm following. And that you can follow to check along with too if you want. Right, so starting off at the bottom right corner again. Come round to these two solid blocks over here. And place 2 dust on top of them. So 1 here and 1 here. Then get out some repeaters and place 2 repeaters facing left on top of both of these observers. So 1 here and 1 in front of it. Solid block in front of this repeater or on top of this one, depending on how you see it. Then get out another dropper, crouch and place a dropper on top of this dropper. Just like so. Then place a temporary block on top of this half slab. Get out a hopper and place a hopper going into that block so the tail is pointing into the temporary block. We can then remove the temporary block. Then, get out a comparator, place a comparator coming away from this hopper, crouch, place a block in front of this comparator, just to the right of it, just here, and just here, then get out a repeater, and place a repeater here going to our table side, and set it to 4 ticks. Just like so. Then get out some observers, 2 to be precise. Place an observer coming away from this dropper, so it's pointing right into the ledge of our pit. Then place an observer to the right hand side of this observer, with a note block on top of this gold block, which is perfect. Whoa! Well, that's unbelievably annoying. Let me reload. But yeah, as I was saying before, this note block should line up perfectly with that gold block. I think that's just Bedrock realms for you, isn't it? Then come round to the bottom left again, where we just built this little bit of a circuit over here. Come round to this left ledge and place a dust here, and 1 piece of dust on top of this observer. On this back side of this 2x2 platform, get out 2 comparators, place 2 in a line going right, then 2 in a line going the directly opposite direction, just like so. Crouch, place a block in front of this comparator at the back, with dust here, like that. Then come round to over here, place a temporary block on top of this blue block. Well, yours might not be blue. I guess I'll never know. Place a dropper to the right of it though, pointing left into your left ledge. Then crouch and place a hopper going into this dropper. Come to the back of the dropper, I guess. Get out a torch and place a torch on top of that block. Comparator coming away from this hopper. Block in front of the comparator or directly on top of the dust, depending on how you want to word it. Then, place your no block on top of this emerald block. I bet you would have seen that one coming. Over here, place dust on top of this block. Then get out a sticky piston. Jump down. Place a sticky piston here to the left. It looks like it's cutting off the redstone. Don't worry, it's not. That's just a Bedrock visual glitch, I guess. Then come round to over here. Jump up, I guess. Place a redstone torch on top of this block, like so. Jump down, then place a sticky piston to the right of it. It should extend. Perfect. Then come round to over here, where we have this block, just on top of it, block to the right of it, and then place a sticky piston to the right of that block. It should make sense why we had such random block placements now, as it was for our sticky pistons. And actually, I missed a sticky piston over here. So come round to this redstone torch and place a sticky piston to the left hand side of this torch. It should extend. So now if I fly up, these two have extended, these two haven't. And this will be the thing that actually pushes our roulette table orb device thing around. I've come back down to the starting point. You then come round to your target block. We're going to make ourselves a little target block tower. Tower of 2. So place a target block on top of this target block. Then get out some more redstone torches. Place a redstone torch on the front side of the target block. A one facing left, making this sticky piston below it extend. Perfect. Redstone torch to the right of the sticky piston we just placed, then 2 pieces of dust here. Then come round to your barrel cycling machine over here. You want to place regular pistons on top of all these 4 regular pistons, just like so. We've got another layer of regular pistons. Then get out your 4 colours, red, black and green. Actually, this is the wrong green colour. That's slightly embarrassing, isn't it? But in this exact form, has to be this exact placement. Green, black, red. Has to be like this. Can it be any other pattern? Has to go green, black, red. The left hand side of this sticky piston, place dust here. Observer, if I can grab one, going into that dust, coming away from this sticky piston if I don't just dive off the edge. That was a bit silly. Then come round to over here. Place an observer coming away from this sticky piston, which is directly opposite side of this one over here. Just in front of that. Block to the right of it, so it's along the left hand side, no, the right hand side of our pit. Comparator going into this block. Get out a copper bulb, the final one. Place it behind this comparator. It makes a nice noise actually. Then get out a glass block and place it to the left hand side of this comparator. Just like so. Get out a repeater. Place it going into the comparator. Like that. Block on top of your dust. You can then get out your button, and this is where your button is going to sit. Technically you can use any button in the game. I just recommend using a stone button since it's quicker and you'll get to cycle through all the colours faster. So who really wants to use a wooden button? They're quite slow, aren't they? Then to the left hand side of this block, place another block. Then get out a torch and place a torch here just like so. By the way, this will get this copper bulb to turn on. You don't want that. Remove it. Place it again, so now it stays off. Otherwise, you'd never be able to cycle through your colours, and it'll only cycle through when this thing's running, and you don't want that. Just make sure that it's off now. Then, get an observer out again. There's an observer coming away from this torch, going into this block. As you saw before, everything is linked together, even though it might not seem like it at first. Now if I fly up, it should look like this. Nope, I've missed one thing. You have to put an extra piece of redstone dust in between these two, well, this piston and this sticky piston, just like so. Now if I fly up, we should be ready to move on to the next steps. I think we are. Perfect. Now you want to get out your decorator slabs, so in this case, blackstone slabs. Is going to do the slabs up here, and yes, they have to be slabs. Do not use any other block apart from slabs. It won't work. Make sure you use slabs, but you want to get yours out. Come around to this extended piston on the right, then place 7 slabs going towards that side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course numero 7. Not there. Here please. Do the same thing on this other extended piston, just going the opposite way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course numero 7. Then starting at this left hand side, go all the way to the right hand side. This time you don't have to count, which is great for those of you if you can't count. Do the same thing on this other side. There we go. Now you may have realised I've used one more slab than you. That's fine, because we're going to replace this slab with our frog light. So now you should have the perfect amount of slabs. That's if I did my math right and if I can count, which let's be honest, isn't very likely. But you don't want to get out your obsidian blocks. You should have 3 of those. Come round to over here. Oops. Place one to the right of this slab. Come round to over here. Place one to the right of this pathway, like so. Come round to over here. And then place in one here, just like so. Then come round to where your frog light is. Get out a comparator. And some dust. Place a comparator coming away from the frog light. Going into 2 pieces of dust. Comparator going directly on the opposite side. Block in front of that. block to the right of this, then an observer facing left going into that block if you're looking at it from the side that your table's on. So like this, I can see the observer comes away from this slabs and will activate that copper bulb. Then get out 2 more barrels, place a barrel on this side and a barrel on this side. As you can see, like I said before, this barrel is what cuts off that redstone. Once again, it doesn't look like it's cutting it off, but it is. It's like the opposite of this sticky piston over here. This one is cutting it off, but it's not actually. This one looks like it isn't, but it is. And then believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that should be all the redstone done. We just have, what, a few more shovels to fill in. Let's go back to our crafting bench. I sure did miss this one. I'm gonna clear out my crusty inventory a bit. That is slacking a bit. Oh, and also we have to do our, payment bit. But first of all, shovels. That's what I'm desperate to do. So let's craft our remaining 12 shovels. Just like so. You want to put 2 inside this barrel over here. 1, 2. That will make that copper bulb turn off. Don't worry, that's absolutely fine. It should be doing that. Then place 2 shovels in this bottom barrel. Well, no, this other barrel. And then place the remaining 8 shovels in this dropper over here. If I look from the top, this dropper over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and of course, numero 8. Then, get inside this hopper. Yep, this one. Get your 4 filler items. 1, 2, 3, 4 from the right. Then plonk the remaining 18 diamonds, well, 18 payment items you've gone with, in this left one. And now that should be everything done. Just to point out, by the way, if you ever wanted to collect what winnings you've made, it would be in this bottom dropper here. This is where all your winnings get stored. If I look actually at my other ones over here, this is the one that I've been using. It's all stored on here, and look how many diamond blocks I've made. That is crazy. But what I do recommend is that you store a few diamond blocks in there anyways, just so if someone does win, they actually have something to win. Otherwise, it's kind of embarrassing. So you know what? Let me put in, not the one, that's a bit tight. Let me put in a stack. Right, so I've just finished checking and I have found some issues. I've made 2 mistakes in total, and I've actually made a mistake from the material list as I forgot to include an item whatsoever. But don't worry, I'll go back in time, I'll edit the material list so you get the right amount of items. And the item that I was missing was 1 more piece of obsidian. So in total, you should have brought 4 pieces of obsidian. I will probably confused when I only used 3, but this is where the final extra one's going to be used is. Come round down to over here where we have this observer. Place the obsidian in front of it, just like so. And you can probably see, I've also removed these colours as they were in the wrong spot. I've also had to remove this barrel since I destroyed it by accident. Then when I placed it in the wrong orientation. But don't worry, it's still the same pattern. It's still what, 25, 23, 26. I followed my diagram, and it appears my diagram is wrong. Oh well. So in this one, the one with 25 shovels in, place red here. This one will want 23, green, and then the final one has to be black, doesn't it? And now I believe it's ready to test. But let me test mine first. If it's all good, I'll tell you to test yours. Just wait to see what happens first. But we put a payment item into this hopper. It should start. Alright, that is perfect. Okay, it's starting. That is great. But we should see this copper bulb there that is flashing perfectly. And if it stops when the copper bulb is lit, we should get 2 diamonds. That went flawlessly. Thank goodness for that. Alright, now let's change the colour we want to bet on. You know what? Let's go with, I'm not thinking green, I want to go with black. Right, so now if I throw an item in and the copper bulb lands on black and it isn't in the greens, I should get 2 diamonds. So we should get 2 diamonds. And that is perfect. Let's go. Right, now final one. Let's test green. By the way, it's very important when you are pressing this button and cycling between the different colours, do not spam it. It will break. You don't want that to happen. You have to wait for all the pistons to do this thing, then press the button again. So if you can't see it, listen out for when the pistons have finished firing, and then press the button. You don't want it to break. It's really annoying to fix. You'll have to take out all those shovels and possibly put them back in. And you don't want to do that, do you? Right, now it's on the green. Let's see if we're feeling lucky. If it lands on green here, I'll be absolutely amazed, but I'm not betting on it. Yep, no. I knew my chances were slim. But now that I know mine's working, it's safe to say you're allowed to test yours, and I really hope it works too. If it doesn't, let me know in the comment section below and I'll try my best to help you. But even better, join the Discord server and I'll do my very best to help get yours fixed. Right, so now I'm going to briefly explain how everything works, and I'm going to show you how to decorate it properly, well, the way I like to do it. So, this section down here, this is all to do with payment and winning. So this is where the winnings are stored. This is the payment method, so if something's not working, no items are getting dispensed, nothing's like starting, look here first. This bit over here, this is the clock and timer. So if we look, actually, it's probably best I show you it working. If I put a diamond block in, this pulse signal will go. That's the set time limit it has to work for. And then if we watch this, once this runs out, we get a snowball inside of this dropper, and every time the shovel gets dispensed, it turns around. But if the snowball gets dispensed, it stops. And that's the randomizer that we're using. So that's what this circuit is. It's the timer and the clock circuit. This, of course, is the piston feed tape that goes around it. This in the middle, this is what determines whether or not it's on black or red, not green. These barrels here, they did green. But this, if you look closely, if I do it again, you can see it changes colour. So every time this moves, this copper ball will change colour, and then when it goes through the middle or goes through the corners, these cobblestone walls will detect that. And then finally you have this section over here, which is of course the betting thing. So this is what determines whether or not you've won, whether you've lost, and of course what colour you want to bet on. I mean, that's of course very, very brief. I just think it's really helpful for you to know what everything does, sort of. I've left out an awful lot, but I don't want to bore you. But now I'm going to quickly show you how to decorate it like I've done here. Obviously you don't have to do it my way, you can do whatever you want. I just think it looks pretty cool. So to decorate your build exactly like I've decorated mine, this is everything you're going to have to get. Alright, so we'll start off by making the actual ring going around the table, and then we can move on from there after we've done it. You want to get out your green, red and black concrete. Place green concrete on top of this barrel and the one over there. Then starting on the right hand side, place red to the right hand side of this concrete. Then black, red, black, and believe it or not, we're going to alternate it until we get to this green one over here. Just like so. We then alternate it through the green block, so black on the right hand side, and the same thing going all the way, if I can place the blocks correctly, to that lime concrete block over there. So it should look something like this. By the way, it doesn't matter whatsoever where your thingy is right now, we can fix that later on, but what you want to do is actually test it. So let me whip out a diamond block. Let me throw it in the system, and we want to make sure that when this copper bulb is off, it lands on a black piece of concrete. When it's on a red. And if it isn't, don't worry, I'll show you how to fix it. I just gotta wait for this to finish first. There we go. As you can see, it landed on black. This copper bulb is black, that's perfect. But if yours landed on black, this copper bulb is turned on, all you gotta do to fix it, grab this button temporarily, place it over here, turn it on. As you can see, it's now rotated. But of course, I want it to be off since it's on black, so I keep this copper bulb off. Alright, so I then like to do my inner ring or carpet, and to do that, you first want to place glass spots going around the outskirts, well actually no, the inskirts of all your decorative slabs. So you can place carpet on top of those. So starting off at the top left corner, it'll go red, black, red, black, red, black. Crouch, place green carpet on top of the comparator. What am I saying? Black, red, red, black, red, black, red. Crouch again, green on top of the comparator, and black. I think I muddled up a few of my words there. And then to the spinny thing in the middle, I place one spruce plank in the middle. Stairs going all the way around it, with the back sides to it. 4 slabs in the corners. Sandstone wall in the middle. Birch fence, and then fence gates going all the way around this. And if you look from a distance, it kind of looks like this is how you spin the entire system around. Just squint really hard and try and imagine it. I'm sure you can see it. But to decorate the rest, you first want to make an entire layer going all the way around your roulette table, just in slabs. But when you come up to this note block, make sure not to cover it. You have to leave it uncovered, otherwise it won't make any noise, and you know what? That's a bit sad. We don't want that. Just cover it all in slabs, like that. Then go around this section in slabs until the very edge of your pit, once again being mindful not to cover this note block. And I also don't cover these observers, but you can do it if you want. I prefer to have carpet here, but obviously have slabs if you want to. So now we have something that looks like this. Then get out your other carpets, so you should have quite a few left over, as well as your red wall, quartz, and your glass. The very first thing I want to do is replace this yellow wall block with red. It will look better later on, I promise you. And then you want to fill in all the gaps where there's no block here with glass. For example, there's no block here, you fill it in with glass. You can place carpet on top of this torch so there's no glass needed. But over here, you need to place a glass block here. Do not place a glass block here, that will break your system. In fact, for now, replace this block with your quartz. This one will do stairs, just so you don't place a glass block there. Over here you need 2 glass blocks. Here you need 1. And is that all the spaces? No, 1 more. But now we can place carpet over the entire thing. So starting at the top left corner, crouch and place carpet along a line. Then one here. On top of the hopper, place your cyan carpet down. Light blue to the right of it. And then of course green going all the way around again. Like so. Then, below this red wall we placed earlier, get out some black carpet, place it here, and then we're going to alternate this going all the way back to the left hand side. Just like that. Then run a layer of green carpet on the back. Do not place it on top of this block, you won't be able to see it. And then finally, 2 green carpet blocks here, so it looks like this in total. And of course, you can cover up these observers with brown wool if you wanted to. I just think it looks cooler, it makes it more like an actual entrance into the roulette table. But anyways, that is the build done. Thank you very much for watching. If you need any help, don't be shy, give me a shout in the comment section, or join the Discord server. That is by far the best place to contact me. But that's all for me, and I'll see you all later. I hope you have lots of fun with your new awesome and working roulette table. Bye everyone.